you started, you built the car for?
Oh, let's see. Oh, she's so cute. Oh,
Was it Marilyn Monroe?
Marilyn Monroe.
How about that, guys?
Meanie May, you gotta go.
And tell me about the John Wayne car.
Oh, that was that Pontiac that we had to raise the roof because he said I didn't want to have to slide in my motor car. I didn't want to have to move in. I just wanted to slide right in.
I had the great pleasure of getting to meet John Wayne. I would love to have met Marilyn Monroe, but George is a fabulous photographer. A lot of you guys, I bet, didn't know that. Girls, I've seen those Marilyn Monroe pictures you took, George. Woo-wee. Why did you keep inviting me up for pictures? Maybe that's a Batmobile. A lot of people want to know when you started. I met George in 1966. George Hurst brought me to California after I won Miss Hurst Golden Shifter, and he was invited to our beautiful unveiling of the Hurst Golden Shifter crown. And I met George in 1966, and he built the Batmobile in 1966, and they all had Hurst shifters. How many Batmobiles did you build?
We built 6 of them because we had a stunt car, a crash car, a race car. We had to have each run because you never could take a chance if you smashed up a car and you had to have another scene coming in going through the Bat Cave. Adam West would always miss the Bat Cave and he'd hit the side of the Bat Cave.
That sounds like my first Hurst Oldsmobile. I said, George, somebody hit me here. That's okay. Take it over to the shop and get another one. George loved you, as you know, my George and this George. So I had 2 Georges in my life all these years. But the quality and the quantity of the cars, and I went to Europe and I saw 13 Batmobiles. I couldn't believe all over Europe. So in all, you made... over the years, probably a couple dozen of the cars.
Oh yeah, we had to have one in every different state for crying. Had the right color because you get back to the east, you had to get ready for rain, snow, and we didn't have to do that in California. You just got to get ready for the sunshine.
I want to know how many women had a Batmobile. I did. You did. Can we talk later? Does anybody have a question for George about any of his cars? Maybe the Monkey Mobile? Okay, question. What is your most memorable car?
I think my most memorable car was for not John Wayne.
Joe DiMaggio?
No, let's see. Elvis Presley.
Ladies, Elvis Presley. How about that? Can you tell us about it?
Elvis was, yeah, it was the Cadillac we had for him. We had not a bar, but we had a Coke bar where we make Coca-Colas for him as he drives down the street in the limousine with the portholes. He had Coca-Colas that he could just come out like a soda fountain.
He always had Coca-Colas and butter sandwiches.
He was the most humble, the nicest young man in the world you could ever see. When he come in there with Priscilla, and he'd come in out of the army, and they were going to get married. They'd come by at our house, and we had a party for him. He says, I don't want to have to stay here because people might get the wrong idea. So will you please, let's all go over and we'll stay at your place.
You know, Elvis was quite shy too, and he was our great friend. His road manager, Felton Jarvis, and I were great friends. And when I won, I went to Las Vegas as one of my gifts, and I got to meet Elvis and spend some time. But Felton Jarvis had worked with me in Nashville. I used to sing a little bit. And of course, I did Woman by Elvis Presley. So we worked together back in the wee years of the 60s, and it was a real honor and a pleasure. But I know he loved General Motor Cars. I do know that much. Okay, his wife Shirley and I were great friends, and his daughter Joji. But we got a guest here. Where'd he go? Tony? Where's Tony? Tony? Come here, Tony. Everybody. Tony Wood has been with George for so many years, and he's got a great collection of the Elvis memorabilia.
Here he comes.
But
Over
here-
to the right. On the
George wouldn't be able to get anywhere without this man. Mr. Tony Wood, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like for you to say a few words.
Let me come over here. Well, I'm Tony Wood. I've been with George for about 41 years. I saw everything that's built in his shop. I learned a lot from a lot of very special, talented people that George designed the cars, and these guys put them together for him. The Batmobile, I was about 10 years old, and I used to hang around the shop and watch these guys build all these cars. When I was about 18 years old, a friend of mine built a car over there for Dyna Girl and Electra Woman. It was a wild flying car. I helped him build it, and then I've been with George ever since. I think 1975.
Yep.
Which one? Sweden?
Yeah,
Oh, Australia.
Excuse me,
Oh, George and I flew down to Australia, 14 and a half hours. So George, watch a movie, have a meal. I'll walk you around the plane every couple hours. And we got down to Australia, and the cars that they build down in Australia were phenomenal. They're different, and they don't have a lot of two-door coupes, but they have a lot of four-door cars down there, and they make really wild customs. But one of my favorite cars that I saw in Australia that I haven't seen since 1977 was a red Corvette made for Corvette Summer, right-hand drive. And the original owner has it down there in Australia. The owner of it has the original car down in Australia right now.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
remember
right.
that?
Yeah.
George, tell the folks what you made for the Corvette many years ago, that bar that comes across the back window. You and Tony know all about that.
What about that one, Tony?
Which one?
The one was. The one had the window in the back.
Oh, the windows. Oh, Richie, hold on. We're talking here. About 6 years ago, George designed a Corvette. It was a C6, and it was a coupe, and he put gull-wing doors on it. Not Lambo doors, but gull-wing doors. And then he designed these fiberglass pieces that followed the roof line and went down the sides of the back of the car. What they were, instead of making a split window, we made a tri-window, the big back window and two side windows in the back. All of a sudden, Callaway started doing it. I just saw a Callaway car there. And in 2014, General Motors came out with they extended the roof lines down across the back windows. George started that in, I think, in 06.
Right.
Now in 1955, George started putting quad headlights in cars. And he started putting fins on cars, like the Aztec he built with a 55 Chevy.
Yeah.
Had 4 headlights and fins in the back. In 1957, General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford started putting fins on their cars. And in 1958, the big three started putting quad headlights in it. George started doing it 3-4 years before. And Detroit sat back and watched George and his brother Sam drag the custom car world right into modern day cars.
What a thrill.
And that,
What a-
ladies and gentlemen, is why he is in the SEMA Hall of Fame right here for all the things that he has done in design. I mean, Hollywood loves him, but we love him too. I mean, he made some parts and pieces for a couple of our Hearst automobiles. He designed things with George Hearst and Jack Duffy. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with him. Of course, I'm a little sweet on him after all these years. We kind of hang out together. They're always saying, "There goes Linda and George again. Where are they going?" I started with Hearst, like I said, in 1966, and George was one of the... George Hearst introduced me to George Barris and to Wally Parks all in the same week. And Ray Brock with Hot Rod Magazine. And take it, I'm from Dalton, Georgia. A little country girl from Dalton, Georgia, came to Hollywood. For the first thing I wanted to do after they introduced me, I said, "Can I go shopping?" He goes, "Where do you want to go, hotshot?" I said, "I want to go buy me a bra over at that Hollywood bra place." I went to Fredericks of Hollywood and bought my first push-up bra. I was so proud of that because I couldn't get anything to fit me in Georgia. I was was going to tell this at the seminar. I'm not ashamed of myself. I'm real. Real hair, real everything else. But he used to kid me about my Dagmars, and I kind of figured that one out. We made a lot of appearances together, but probably one of the hardest things was to get George into the Hall of Fame. At first, I had to fight a panel that didn't want a customer in the custom cars. I said, George Barris has done more for other cars other than the custom cars. I said, the bolts, the nuts, the things he's made, a part of the shifter that works even better. And I said, and I nominated him because I was on the board and I could nominate him. So it takes 3 years to really get it going. So the first year I told him, he was a little disappointed. I said, the second year we're going to really get their attention. I said, George, on my life and my heart, the third year you will be in the Motorsports Hall of Fame at SEMA. And it took 3 years, and I had the great people on my committee that year, and I was back on the board again that third year, and he won with a landslide. And real proud of you, George, getting in the SEMA Hall of Fame, everybody.
And my motto was to say, made in the USA.
Well, that's the way I feel about a lot of the parts and the pieces today. I've been working with General Motors off and on my entire life, seems like, and I've been making a lot of appearances with Chevy Performance, and it's just an honor to come back here, both of us. We said we weren't going to go without each other when Mike called, and I said, I'll go if George goes, and he said, I'll go if Linda goes. So we both want to know what's on your mind, what your questions are. Ken, how about my number one fan here? Ken, 42 years of my friendship. What's your favorite car?
Favorite car?
At the show today. So have you picked that one? Yesterday or today?
Like the new Corvette with the white one with the black trim.
Well, you're like me. I love that white one with the black trim. I love them all. I did pick out one that was white and had a Hurst shifter in it the other night. I had to, and I got to the back of the car and it said Vaughan on it. So I didn't see that till after I'd already picked the car. So that tickled me to death. But working with them, it's just wonderful because I get to come out to the drag races and the stock car races and the Indy car races now with Chevy Performance. So now tell me, who's got the best car out here in this group? What are you driving, sir? What is your Corvette? You don't have one? What about you? Our black friend right there.
Oh, we have an 08.
An 08? Who has a 57? What do you have?
I have a 71.
71? Anybody got one in the 60s? Oh, you got a Hurst shifter in it? Y'all can shift my gears. We have free posters for you after the seminar. So, Georgie, what do you think about this place? Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, this is a thrill for me to come flying in with an airplane all night long and get up in the morning and I say, look with this sunshine with moon glows and clouds way up above the clouds. That was enjoyable to come through there with the airplane and make a good landing.
And that's always make a good landing, let me tell you. A question? Yes, sir.
What year did you do the Gratiot Auto Supply?
What year did I do the Gratiot Auto Supply commercial? So, oh, my Lord, come to Gratiot Auto Supply and tell them Linda sent you. I started in, was it 81? Ken?
79.
79. Well, it was 79. It was 79 I started with them. I did them for about 7, 8 years. Come to Gratiot Auto Supply and tell them Linda sent you. But we did a whole slew of commercials with Angelo Giapetroni, who's in the Hall of Fame, and his wife Kathleen. She's my sister from another mother. But she absolutely is a riot. They said, we want you to do our TV commercials. And this was at the SEMA show when they asked me. And I said, well, I'm after in SAG, I said, but I want to be paid for it because it's a lot of hard work and I'm going to come in. And she says, oh yeah, we'll hook you up with the agency. So we came in and I thought it was just going to be one the first year, and we did 7 years of the commercial. And Gratiot was the main warehouse distributor for her, so we sold a lot of parts and a lot of things. That was a great stay. And even in the Woodward Avenue parade this year, somebody said, hey, Linda, Gratiot Auto Supply. And I went, psst, tell them Linda sent you. You live a mile from there? Which store?
Well, Gratiot Auto Supply is now...
Well, he had 13 cities, you know.
Well,
Even the mayor came to see me because I was in Livonia. He was our black mayor, and he said, "Just say Livonia." I said, "Livonia, sir. Who are you?" He was the mayor. I sold him a shifter.
It was Roseville.
Yeah, it was Roseville too. Roseville. He liked that. Yeah, that was it was wonderful because we could take our marketing after showing our products at the SEMA show, George, and then the warehouse stepping up. You know, it's tough to buy TV commercials. It's very expensive. But when you're after the SAG, which I got all the drivers to join, because we work hard and we should be compensated when we do the commercials, so I made sure we had all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. So it started out, and it helped pay off my house, thank God. And I bought another couple of Hearst automobiles. But we have one Corvette at home. We have an 84 Corvette at home. That was my boyfriend's, and I want one of the new ones. So I'm trying to negotiate. If I can sell at Barrett Jackson one more of my Hearst automobiles, I'm getting me a new Corvette. How about you, George? Want one?
Well, that was it. Mine was a little 47 Ford that I chopped the top on, and I did one thing. I called it custom with a K. The only problem was I didn't go ahead and register it for a lifetime, and that means everybody took on customs with a K.
Start it again.
Oh.
I went to the custom show. The custom Corvettes were like the Galloways when they first started many years ago at the Autorama in Detroit. How many folks here have been to the Autorama in Detroit? It's probably one of the best shows I think I get to go to every year.
A lot of cars.
Yeah, and a lot of wonderful engineering. But what's so fun is to take the boy next door and his daddy. I got the best of both worlds. Now I'm working on the grandson. So 3 generations come to see us, and it's a real honor to still represent this industry and sport because I love it. Can you tell it's in my blood? My boyfriend says, "Linda, you ever going to grow up?" And I said, "No." Why, you want to drive a car? Another question? Yes, sir?
I mean, I've seen pictures of you in car magazines when you're on the platform of the cars with the big shifter, and it's like, and then I saw you at Woodward Avenue. You were actually great on
the
cars.
shifter?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, people see it in the magazines doesn't compare seeing you in live. When you combine that car with that shifter, that sticker, it's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I was scared to death when they said, "Linda, we want to drive you down Woodward Avenue." And we got your 72 Hearst pace car. And I said, I can still get my little gold outfit. So here I go in those gold high heel boots and this little gold dress. And you know how many potholes is in Woodward Avenue? I thought I was going to get killed that day. But I got to the end of the 17 miles. I was really thrilled and really proud. And I'm so glad you got to see that. But I hadn't been on the shifter in many, many, many years. I didn't realize how high it was. I mean, I guess it's because I'm older. But it was interesting. And the shifter now is in Speedway Bill's museum. If y'all ever go to Lincoln, Nebraska, Speedway Bill, God rest his soul. Speedway Bill, George. Remember Speedway Bill? He's got my Hearst shifter. And it's in the entryway of that beautiful 5-story museum. So if y'all ever get out there, go see it. It's probably the best museum I've ever been to in my life. It's incredible. Until they get Peterson finished.
Yeah, that was great.
Another question?
How tough was it for him to sell the original Batmobile when he
How tough?
auction? When he put his original Batmobile up for auction, how tough was it for him to emotionally to?
How tough was it for you emotionally to sell your Batmobile, the original one that we sold at Barrett Jackson?
Well, we broke the Guinness Book of Records, and it was sold more than any other car in history that was done at
Barrett Jackson.
At the Barrett Jackson auction, and the man was a wonderful man. He was out of the Arizona area.
Tell him about what he did with the car.
And the exciting thing about it is that before he bought the car, he took the front living room and he cut the sides off the sides of the house so that he could drive the Batmobile right into his living room
Before he bought it.
and going to park it and put it in there and have it in there. And I said, well, thank God you bought it then, because you had no way to block off, no windows. No.
Well, there was a bidding war, if y'all watched it on television. There was a bidding war going on, and he was bound and determined he was going to buy that car. And the crowd went crazy, and the more they kept bidding back and forth, the more the price went up. That was me on stage with those bat glasses on and that black leather outfit. I came out leading the car singing Batman. Craig Jackson about fell off the stage. Then the man wanted to buy my glasses. I told him, nope. I said, I'll let you borrow them, but I'm going to keep those because of George. I had those made special for George.
It was so exciting because as they were bidding, I says, whoever buys the Batmobile will be getting my bat coat. I had a coat, special coat.
Yeah.
I unzipped it and lifted it up. I threw it up in the air and I says, here comes the bat coat for anybody that buys the Batmobile. And boom, everybody started bidding.
It was probably, and I go every year, I think it was probably one of the most interested and most exciting sales I've ever been a part of. It just blew me away. It was great.
It was a thrill. What an
Even
experience.
Hendrix was bidding on it. I mean, we had them going. That was rocking and rolling. So how many of you guys and girls have a Corvette?
And the man, he bought it.
Okay.
He says,
I'm going to speak to the ladies. Any of you guys, you girls, got a 4-speed or 5-speed or 6-speed? All right. That's that yellow canary back there. Where's Rose?
She's on her way.
All right. Well, it's a little difficult sometimes to try to go by a format for our seminars because of our illness, and we appreciate everyone's patience. But I just thought today, opening it up to questions and answers would be something that y'all would like to be a part of. So, what about you, Mr. Red Hat? Where do I know you from? You look real familiar. You don't know? Which car do you have here? A 70, all right, we got a 4-speed competition plus with an enamel knob, and you drove it, thank God. Oh, wonderful, yeah. Well, I like to drive.
who's got the vertical doors?
Oh, who's got the vertical doors? He wants to
Oh,
know.
they're cute. I think that's
I think that was the crowd Thursday night. That was the crowd Thursday night.
It reminded me of John Wayne. Because when John Wayne was filming over at Universal Studios, he comes in and he says, George, I don't want to have to slide in to get in my motor car. I just want to just slide right up and get in it. I got a hold of John Lorian in General Motors. I said, send me over a Pontiac wagon. He sent me a Pontiac wagon. I raised the roof 6 inches and I lowered the seats 4 inches. And I said, hey, John, hey, Duke, what do you think? He came over from lunch and he says, he comes in and he slides right in his motor car and he says, George, this is the greatest car I've ever had. I can slide into my motor car. And he took it, and when he left us out in the world, he gave it to his son so that it'll carry throughout his whole family.
And it's still in the family. That's wonderful. We have a question here in front. Where's your monster cars?
Well, we still have the #1 monster car. It's touring with the
Car shows?
yeah, with the car show with Butch Patrick, and he is now beginning to be a big man instead of a little man. And the little seat that we put up in the back of the back seat, that we had to make sure that we got it in the right size, because as time grew, he got bigger and bigger, and we had to figure out a way to keep it so that it would still fit in that little seat.
Well, we had that car at Woodward a few years ago when George was the Grand Marshal at Berkeley Parade. We do a Berkeley Parade every year, and we had the Batmobile, we had the Monkey Mobile, we had the Monster Mobile. It looked like a George Barris production, I tell you. We were real proud of all that. And George was sitting up there in that little seat. He got the most applause. And the mayor was a lovely woman. I think she liked you, George.
I think it's vice versa.
Any other questions? Go ahead, sir.
Did you have to make multiple TV cars? Like, did you make multiple monster cars and monkey cars?
How many monkey cars did you make? We already told the Batman story.
Batmobiles? I had to have multiple cars because you cannot have a race car be a crash car. What if you had a race car and he smashed it on the middle of a scene? That means he couldn't go on to the next scene. So we had to build a car for each different event. So it was crash car, race cars, stunt cars. It was such a thrill. I had to make a mold to make the parts so that all I had to do is assemble, boom, 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 make fenders and tops and everything right away so that we wouldn't have to look to hand make any more parts that we couldn't do right away.
It's just like running for NHRA. Look how many parts that John Force goes through. That's the truth. We have any drag racers in here too? What's your question? You don't have a question? Larry Dixon today, the snake yesterday. You are crazy, aren't you? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment to George. As a kid, we would build models. And I hate to say this, but we would buy some of your models only for the headers, the wheels, the seats. So not all of them we would build them complete like the Monkey Mobile or any of your customs, but we would take all of your ideas and parts and create some of our own. So you gave us all kinds of great things to work with as we were building our models. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We were
That
so
was great.
thrilled because with Ford we had the Ford Custom Car Caravan, and we were able to take all these cars that we built with all the different wheels and all the different tops and chop tops and the different fins in the back, like big Cadillac fins and everything. So it was a thrill to be able to create different full-size cars compared to our miniature cars, and Ford Motor Company made that available for us to tour all over the world.
What did you build for Chevrolet? I went up there with your Camaros. Want to tell me about your Camaros you did?
The Camaros we did was really a thrill because the different events we were going to have,
Lakers.
they had hot engines already. We didn't have to worry about the engine. We had a lot of power. So all you had to do is just put your foot on it and spin the back wheels and get down the street about a block away, and all I do is hear here's your ticket. I said, thanks a lot, another ticket.
George is Mr. Hollywood and Mr. Burbank. I guarantee you he ain't never paid for a ticket. He does a car show every year, and I get to go up there, and it's wonderful how many of his Hollywood friends show up, and they're just down-to-earth folks just like us, and they bring their cars, and they do it for a worthy cause. George is going to be 90 years old in November, and I thought you all would like to wish him a happy birthday, George.
It's going to be a big thrill for me because my wonderful, wonderful daughter, who is running my company so that I can come out and do my ventures with everybody like we are here today. And we're going to take a cruise into the ocean.
Wild Blue Yonder.
And it's going to be a fun to have all my friends and buddies and everybody go take that cruise and hit the ocean and then go past them and come back. So
we're going to have a heck of a birthday party. I went to a party with him up at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
Boy, was that a party. No, I didn't do Playboy. No, I make more money leaving my clothes on. No, thank you, sir. I don't want to be in Playboy. I made my mom a promise and my sister that I'd never do Playboy or Penthouse because I'd have a lot longer career if I didn't show it just a little bit at a time.
Who was that? Who was the gal that had the museum in the Midwest to come over?
Tammy?
Yeah.
Tammy, woo! Tammy, yeah,
She
very nice.
She bought Sonny and Cher's
Car
Mustangs.
from you? She sure
and
did.
She put them right on
She
the
bought
floor.
one of my hearse cars.
Yes.
Yeah, Tammy, yeah. She
she's
unfortunately
got that.
lost her son recently, but Tammy's a big car collector,
Yes.
and she does a lot for charity. And they live in Colorado, and I thought I was just going to go out to a barn. Oh my Lord, y'all should see this barn. It looks like a mansion, and it's full of great cars. So that's the kind of fun that we get to have, is go and visit all those folks. And she did a lot for your benefit too, George. She's a great lady.
Yeah, it was good.
Another question over here. What got your wheels turning, George?
Well, when I was going to school, they'd put me in classes, cooking, sewing, and all this. I said, I don't want to be a cook. I don't want to sew clothes. I want to make custom cars. He says, well, you can't do that here. So I said, okay, I quit. Boom, out the door I went. I went down to the railroad tracks, and the guy gave me a torch and a dolly and a hammer so I could start hammering on the metal and make full fadeaway fenders and start doing custom cars. And that's when they kicked me out of school and never got a diploma. So just about a year ago, the mayor and the governor, they invited me to a big event, and they said, we want to thank you for what you've done for the schools. I said, well, the one thing I wanted to do is to show the people what we did. Could you do one thing for me in my school? And they said, what's that, Mr. Barris? I said, could you please get me my diploma?
And they did. They did, and they honored him, because really and truly, he's a professor. You know, really and truly, George, you have done so much. And now your grandson, Jared, is following your footsteps. You want to tell me about Jared?
Jared is becoming the wild kid of the thing. He's had more ideas of that we all learn should do. Marketing. You got to be able to market your product. Just like you see here, it's all in marketing, and that is what made the Corvette become the #1 car in the world. Not just only USA, but in the world. Beat out the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and the Countachs and all that.
And it's doing it again big time. It's one of the most exciting cars. Since the '63 split window, I haven't really wanted to buy a Corvette for myself. For some reason, I just got into keeping what we had and going on and doing my projects with the Hearst Pontiacs and the Hearst Oldsmobiles, and then the Hearst Camaros and the LV1 Camaro, which I'm very proud and honored. But I'm falling in love with the Corvette. I have got to have a Corvette. So please buy my Hearst Oldsmobile so I can have a Corvette. I want a Corvette. I bug them every time I do a show for Chevrolet, and I tell the boss, Mr. Jim Campbell, I said, is that a down payment on my Corvette? I'm getting closer. But I love the car. I've got a love affair. How many women have a love affair with their cars? The first car I ever fell in love with was the '57 Chevrolet. The second car was the '57 Corvette, because he had both of them. But I learned to drive the '57 Chevrolet first. It had a Hearst shifter in it, 4-speed. I fell madly in love. And then I wanted to drive that little Corvette, which was faster and would handle better. Oh, my Lord. And he asked me one time, did you fall in love with my cars or with me? Well, 24 years later, I slapped him, because he was still my dear friend, and he taught me to drive. And my first kiss was in a '57 Chevrolet in the front seat. So, George, when was your first kiss in the car?
Well, the first thing that I enjoyed with the '57 Chevy
57, all right.
was to have a half top. You know, the front top over you, where you drive the car and your girlfriend was with you there. We had an open top. The back of the car was a full half top. The '57 Chevy was the thrill of my life. Because I could drive the car and I could get up and go right through the roof and come back down again.
His wife was a beautiful blonde named Shirley. I have a sister, beautiful blonde named Shirley. But I got to work with them, and I'll never forget going to the Oakland Roadster Show as long as I live. I had never been up in that part of the country, and George and Shirley were, of course, king and queen of the event, and it was magnificent, and some of the greatest custom Corvettes I'd ever seen. And the paint job on the one particular was the Candy Apple Red.
Yeah.
That was the most magnificent Corvette I'd ever laid my eyes on. Being from Dalton, Georgia, I didn't see things like that much. So George had his great cars there. He's done a lot of work with the Chevrolet and still does. And we're not through yet, are we, George?
Not at all, because from my wonderful wife Shirley's, we call her City. We have my great daughter who made it available for me to be here this weekend so I could have time to spend with you all and tell all of our funny things that we've done in a lifetime in custom cars. We benefited the world to be able to take away from Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all those things. We brought it back here, made in USA, and I'm a big believer of that.
God bless you, George. Ladies and gentlemen, George Barris.